Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing today, and thank you to our witness for being here. Appreciate your testimony. I've had the privilege of visiting the African continent on multiple congressional delegations since I've been in Congress my time here, including recently DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda in the area. During these visits, nearly all of my conversations have centered around security and economic growth. And thanks to the leadership of President Trump and Secretary Rubio, that's exactly what the Washington Accords, Peace and Prosperity, sets the foundation for this to take place in the DRC. Now that the agreement is signed, the implementation must be executed thoughtfully and with buy-in from all of our regional partners. Key to lasting peace is economic security, right? But you can't have economic security until you have some level of physical security as well, because people, outside nations are not going to come in and invest in an area where it's too hostile and too dangerous to operate. So that's just really going to be key in all of this. A plan that I've discussed with multiple heads of state in the area, including Rwanda and DRC, is that the region could create an economic framework where neighboring countries would manage separate segments of the critical mineral supply chain coming from the eastern DRC. Now, I'm not suggesting that the DRC should give resources away. They belong to the DRC. But what I am suggesting is that if this becomes a situation where it's mutually beneficial for everyone to have peace in the region, because it's financially beneficial for everyone to have peace in the region, then I think that goes a long ways toward establishing lasting peace. And I've proposed multiple times that there should be agreement between the countries, and not just Rwanda and the DRC, but the DRC and Burundi, the DRC and Uganda, some of their neighbors, that everyone benefits from the trillions, the tens of trillions of dollars of rare earths that are currently in the eastern DRC. It's one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest, in the world with regards to some of these natural resources. So, if these could be mined, in the DRC and then refined or processed in the neighboring countries, everyone would have a vested interest in making sure that peace is maintained in the area. I also think that another area that's big here is that in order to get the physical security that we talked about, well, first off, let me just say that once that happens, another area that I've stressed really strongly is that the resources that come from this agreement down the road, if this were to take place, and some of this tremendous wealth were realized by the DRC and its neighboring countries, as I described, I think that it's absolutely critical that these resources have to be reinvested in the people of the DRC, the infrastructure. They have to see their lives getting better based on these minerals, being processed and sold. I also think that it's going to be really key. We talked about the atrocities, and yes, there's been atrocities on both sides. I've read the intel. M23, Wazalando. There's been some atrocities across the board. It's been going on for a long time now, right? But I also maintain that M23 is an armed militia group. I don't think they're going to put their weapons down and start farming the next day. I think that there has to be a concerted effort by the DRC to take the Congolese members of the M23 and incorporate them into the broader security platform for the country. Whether that's enabling them to be part of the military in some way, I'm not sure, but I do think that you have to have a plan for that as well. But my question for you, real quick, because I don't have much time left, I'm sorry, but is what is the Department of State doing right now to how are they working to implement such a framework that I was just described with regards to the economic and the physical security?
Great. Well, thank you so much, Congressman, for the opportunity to address that. The regional framework that you've described is exactly in line with what we have achieved with the Regional Economic Integration Framework signed between DRC and Rwanda. So that was a big incentive to participate in the peace process. Like you said, economic security and physical security do go together, and we won't have increased investment until we do have peace. So we are looking forward to helping the DRC and Rwanda implement the REEF, the Regional Economic Economic Integration Framework, which seeks to strengthen cross-border collaboration on sectors like critical minerals, also energy, infrastructure, tourism, and public health. So we look forward to the implementation of that framework, especially once we make more progress toward real stability on the ground. And I do appreciate your note that we should be looking at Uganda and Burundi for inclusion in certain efforts related to that framework. I think we are certainly hoping to get to that stage, and I would love to discuss with you further what that might look like to ensure that all countries in the region do benefit from this deal that was signed between the DRC and Rwanda. If I could just address the comment you made about M23 and the reintegration and DDR efforts, that's a critical aspect of the Doha track and something that will be discussed in further negotiations. So we are very supportive of Qatar's efforts to convene those discussions, and the U.S. will continue to provide technical support as we move through those negotiations. So thank you so much, and I look forward to having more conversations with you and your team about how we can support investment in the DRC and the region.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know this, I'm making it sound a lot easier than it actually is. There's been, this has been going on for decades now, this conflict. And, but I do think that at some point there have to set aside differences, and there has to be a way for M23 to reintegrate and for everyone, including both sides of this conflict, to see that they are benefiting from what's going on with the vast mineral wealth there that I think is ultimately the solution to this problem. But once again, I thank you for your time, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.